Sorry about that. The lectionary was set for Wednesday, so we got Wednesday's reading and responsorial psalm, but we got the Thursday gospel. So those who are following at home, if you're expecting the reading of the Potter's House with the beautiful description of Jeremiah, well, you get to meditate on that on your own. At any rate, one of the great things about today, and it's like 2 days in a row, well, 2 days in a row. I got to celebrate Mass here on Tuesday, and now today's Thursday. But it's kind of like, for me, one day you get to celebrate Father Stanley Rother, and today is the celebration of Stanley of Father Solanus Casey, and he's one of the very few American-born men have been declared venerables and now are on their way to being saints. Both of them now are blesseds, and what a blessing it is. Both are priests, and both were terrible intellectually. They failed basically most of their classes, and Solanus Casey was from a small family like mine. He only had 14 brothers and sisters. And he, as a background, is kind of cool. It's like very few priests, I imagine, are, at one sense, farmers, and he was also like a lumberjack, but at the same time, he was a streetcar driver. And that kind of mixed together in such a way for him in his life. They ended up joining the Capuchins and living a lot of his time in Detroit, but spent some time even in New York. But what happened was when he got ordained, they told him he had to be what they call a simplex priest, which meant that he was not able to hear confessions, and he wasn't allowed to really preach either, especially on anything doctrinal. Some of us, that would probably be good to apply some of this simplicity, right? At any rate, Father Solanus, now blessed, Casey, lived a life of just accepting God's will in such a tremendous way. And it kind of begs the question, when hardships happen to us, when our life hits bumps in the roads, when we fail, so to speak, do we accept God's grace in those moments? Do we become more vulnerable in terms of our heart, opening up to how God can seep in and marinate the roughness and perhaps the dryness that's in our hearts? To me, when we hit moments of suffering the way Solanus Casey did, the question becomes, are we going to become more tender in our heart because we're suffering and see the need for God? Or are we going to be more isolated and brittle and more focused on our own selfishness? And what Casey did was, anytime he got sick, anytime he had issues, he would turn to try to help more people. He would turn to accept this grace of God in prayer, and thus he became the beautiful saint that we get to talk about and think about today because of his love for Jesus. And Jesus in the gospel today says that at the end of the life, this is what's going to happen. We're going to all be mixed together, and we can see saints and sinners alike in our daily life, and we pray that we too can be in that good bucket, a bucket that gets there because we've simply absorbed and accepted God's grace in the sufferings and in the hardships, so that our hearts become tenderized in the love of Jesus.